Hi everybody, I'm Eric. Welcome to my guitar corner. I'm going to do a video. I don't do a lot of these types of videos, but I'm going to do a video about, I don't really do any of these types of videos because this is a metal guitar, and although I'm a huge metal fan, I don't really talk about it a lot. I've got a couple of Iron Maiden covers and stuff on my acoustic covers, you know. You guys might have seen that, but I'm going to talk about this guitar today. I'm going to talk about it. So if you guys are like the guys that don't like, oh, he talks about guitars, he doesn't play them, he's just going to talk about it. So maybe this isn't the video for you, but I'm going to talk about this guitar for a while. I'm talking about my love of heavy metal, and this is a Alexi 200 LTD, and this guitar is basically one of Alexi Laiho's signature models. He had a wide range of them. There are several out there. This is like the least expensive one, I believe. They make the LTD. They make some other LTDs that are more expensive with the neck through, and they have like, some of them even have like a little ashtray in the back, like one of the old car ashtrays from the 70s or early 80s. Where you push in, and that's where the battery is for the active pickup in those guitars. This doesn't have an active pickup, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, this guitar, it has one pickup basically. It's very simple designs, one pickup. A lot of people think this is a EMG when they first look at it. It's not. It's a this is a ESP, basically the ESP version of. It's actually not even really their version of an EMG because it's not active. It's just a passive pickup, and sounds okay. Sounds pretty good. One volume knob. Basically, that's all you need. If you're an Alexi fan and you play that type of metal, that's pretty much all you need. You need that bridge position humbucker and one volume knob. That's what you need to do that. So, and I think you realize that. Although I've seen the newer models they're releasing that have a single coil in the neck position, and it's kind of angled too. It's angled, I forget which way, but and that might be maybe a little bit of a tribute to Children of Bodom's other guitar player, R.I.P. I'm probably saying that totally wrong, but he had the same. He played the same model basically that Alexi played, but he had that single coil in there. And I may not know what I'm talking about right there, but I think that's where they were going with that. But this. Let me start talking about this. This got the pointy headstock, you know. It's got Floyd Rose. This is actually a ESP licensed Floyd Rose, which this thing is not that great, to be honest with you. It doesn't work near as well as a real Floyd Rose, but it's got the locking nut here and the string tree. Every single string goes under the string tree, goes all the way across. And one thing I want to talk about, this locking nut here. If you can see that, I had a Charvel, and I had it for a long time, and it was a great guitar. I missed that guitar. It was stolen from me. I had a Charvel Model 4, and it had a Kaler tremolo, which is quite a bit different. A lot of people hated them. I was kind of a fan of it, and well, so is Kerry King. Kerry King likes Kalers, and that's all he does basically when he solos, is just whip that whammy bar back and forth and move his hands up and down the neck. No offense, I love Kerry King, I love Slayer, they're great, but I've never been a big fan of Floyd Roses or Kalers or any kind of tremolo. I like the solid hardtail piece. Hardtail, you call it. My personal favorite design is just a block of wood with the strings going through the back and coming out and running over the bridge. I don't, kind of like on a telly, and some of the Dean guitars are made that way. Some of the Dean MLs, a lot of the Flying V's, Gibson Flying V's, and I've seen it a lot on Schecters where they basically just come up through the body. There's a hole in the back. They come up through the body and go over the bridge, basically. And personally, I think that's the best design, but I'm not a big whammy bar guy. But anyway, that's just part of what we're going to talk about, what I talked about. This thing has like a sawtooth inlays, kind of, I call them reverse because they're kind of the reverse of the way the shark fin, the classic shark fin inlays on the Jacksons and Charvels and stuff. And plus they have this little, if you can see that rough edge there. So, and that was Alexi's design. That was one of the things he created. He kind of created his own motif, you know. He was like, you know, like Dimebag that created his own thing. Try not to beat this thing up. This thing actually has a big old nick. I didn't just do that, but this thing took a nasty fall off of stand several years ago and landed on some hard tile in an apartment I was living at the time. But it's got some, it's a little beat up right here, this whole corner. These sharp edges I've noticed on a lot of these really pointy guitars always end up getting beat up and paint chipped and stuff. That looks really gnarly right there, but you can't really see it. But I think it's cool. I like a few scratches and stuff. I'm okay with that. But anyway, this thing was made in China, I believe. Let me get my glasses. This is like the yeah, it's made in China. LTD is, I don't think they're all made in China, but LTD is basically like the ESP bargain brand. It's like the Epiphone is to Gibson as LTD is to ESP. So Gibson, I don't know if ESPs actually they have any made in the United States. Maybe they do. If you know, maybe you can comment below. At one time, I know their custom shop was in Japan, I think, and they made all their top-end models. ESP's top-end models were made in Japan. All the George Lynch stuff and the Kirk Hammett and Jeff Hanneman, all those guys have those signature ESPs. Ron Wood from the Rolling Stones doesn't really fit in there, but those Ron Wood ESPs are great also. But this thing is pretty cool guitar. I don't play it as much. I love metal. I don't play it like I used to. I play a lot of acoustic stuff. I play a lot of acoustic covers, although I do some acoustic metal covers. And this thing is kind of based off of a Rhodes, Jackson Rhodes shape, maybe a little bit. Flying V, of course. Jackson had the King V, which was just like a V, a pointy V with both sides were equal proportion. But then Randy Rhodes came in and he designed his Rhodes model, and the bottom, some people call it like I think they call it the shark fin, and the bottom fin, or the bottom, I guess you call it, it's not really, I consider this part the fin, but the bottom on that on his Randy Rhodes Jackson design is smaller than this, I believe, a little bit smaller. And I actually kind of prefer the ESP. I think it looks cooler. I played some of those Jackson Rhodes, and they're cool, you know. That's Randy Rhodes. Randy Rhodes is obviously a guitar legend, but anyway, if you know what the Jackson Rhodes looks like, it's smaller right here. This piece is smaller, and some of those Rhodes have like those mirror pick guards on this part, which is really cool. But anyway, this I'm not, as I said before, this has a ESP licensed Floyd Rose, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like Floyd Rose, period. I don't like Kaler for the most part. I don't like tremolos, but I discussed that already. But as you can see here, maybe you can see it right there, that thing isn't quite flat. to set it up properly, you kind of want it flat across to where it's level with the top of the body. But I actually kind of have this thing blocked off with, believe it or not, a pack of Kleenex, and it works pretty good because I like to do a lot of like double stop bends, and I don't like having the bridge lift up because everything kind of goes out of tune. And you guys that have played with these, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna take the back off of this, and I'll show you guys kind of. I'm not an expert on these things. I'm not really a metal guitar expert, but let me put these screws right here on my amp. That's my old Fender. It's like a mid 70s, early 70s maybe, twin reverb. That thing has seen better days, believe me. But it needs a lot of work. The reverb circuit on it doesn't work at all, but it can sound good. It sounds great at high volume, but I can't do that here. I live in an apartment and I'll go to jail if I turn that thing all the way up. I'm going to take this back off of this guitar and show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Getting all the screws off. I'm actually missing a screw right there, it looks like, but take this back plate off. A lot of people on these just remove the back plates and leave them off. Let me get that off. That just fell off. But I've only got 2 springs on there, but I've kind of got that, as you can see, blocked off right there. I call it blocked off, but it's not exactly a block, but that's a Kleenex pack. And to set a Floyd Rose up, you know, you kind of want to, it's all about tension, you know, and it's a floating system. You can set it up different ways. You can set it up, I believe, like Eddie Van Halen's always set his up, or his guitar tech did. He probably did it himself in the early days, where basically you could only dive bomb. You couldn't pull back on it, which a lot of guys do nowadays, and that wasn't really a thing in the 70s and 80s when Eddie was playing. In his early days, you know, it was just a dive bomb thing, and basically that rested up against the body. And as you can see, this wood is routed out to where you can pull back on the tremolo system or the whammy bar and sharpen the pitch. But these are fine tuners right here. So basically this locks, you know, this locks the strings down. So once you get it in tune, and once you lock that down, these don't do anything. You don't want to mess with these once you get that locked down, and these will fine tune it. But I may do another video. That's a whole nother video, setting up a Floyd Rose, and there's guys that do it way better than me. There's a video of Eddie Van Halen's guitar tech, I forget the guy's name, that he just put out recently, where he's setting up Floyd Rose and showing how he did it on Eddie's guitars. Rest in peace, Eddie. Miss Eddie. But anyway, talking a little more about this guitar, the input jack, it should be an output jack, really. It's because it's an output. It comes from the guitar and goes to the amp, is right here, which I believe is how the Jackson Rhodes mostly did theirs. And there's the strap button right there also. And the other strap button is right here on the back of this, near the neck, just above the neck plate. So anyway, this is a great guitar, you know, it feels great. This pickup probably isn't the best, but it's okay, you know, it does the job. And if you want to spend more and more, that's one thing about ESPs, especially the Alexi line, is like they have every range, they have every price range, and all the way up to the top, to the most elite $3,000-$4,000, the ESP Alexis. But anyway, I'm gonna plug it in, play it for a minute. I probably think I'm talking too much, but plug this thing in. It's hard to plug in. It's hard to find that jack on there. I'm not used to playing this type of guitar. That sounds, but let me adjust that sound a little bit. Put some treble on that. I'll get into some distorted sounds, you know, because if you're playing an Alexi guitar with the single humbucker in the bridge position, you're going to be playing metal, obviously. Sound. That's I probably should have adjusted my amp before I started this video. Let me plug in my distortion here. Let's see what this sounds like. This is Dan Electro Fab Tone, which is kind of a ridiculous pedal. It almost makes it sound like it's a Beatles thing, calling it a fab tone, but you plug that in. It actually is a pretty extreme metal sound. Oh, jeez. Ah! Okay. I thought I had this thing working. I took the back off of it. Oh, wow. Maybe that doesn't work, but oh, that sounds... Okay, try that one more time. Let's see. That's not what it's supposed to do. Okay, so maybe that is not working right now. That's unfortunate. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about this guitar for right now. I'm actually thinking about selling this thing because I don't really play it a lot, although it is a great guitar. But you guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day. I'll probably do some more of these videos. I'm hoping to get my distortion fixed and maybe play some metal riffs on this thing. But thanks for watching.